I've done a little more work with ChatGPT this time because I've started to work on real analysis. I asked about the Archimedean principle. I first made the mistake of just asking the question in a very general way. And of course, it's an Archimedean principle for the displacement of fluids. But what I really meant was the Archimedean principle in real analysis. It gave me an explanation um, which seemed to be fine. But then I caught something in it that it didn't sit well. The set of natural numbers is dense within the set of real numbers. That stuck out as something that didn't make sense to me. So uh, I asked it to explain it, and when it did, and I went through the explanation, I was like, "Huh, I don't think so. I don't see how that would be." And I think it could be because it's missing something. It's missing something about where that natural number occurs, and it's in the ratio between B and A, and not in just B and A by themselves. So then I wanted to dig in. I wanted to figure out why it was doing something that didn't make sense to me, and I kept asking it, how can you say that basically? Because there's no natural numbers between say zero point 0.3 and zero point 0.4, and those are two real numbers. By the way, all these questions are in the description for the video. And I'm going to keep them as reference as ChatGPT improves, which I hope it does. And I hope this product, the way it is offered or in some other way, is always available for people like myself. Here is where I realized where it was not doing something right. So I tried to explain how to do this dense uh, thing with natural numbers, which doesn't work. And here's where I saw one of the errors. Of course, I've sent some comments already. So you hit this thing, and you say, for example, I already done this, but I'm gonna do this again. So just for you guys to see it. So right here, I'll say this, and I'll say that 3.2 plus 1 is equal to 4.2, and this isn't true. All right, so then back to this, and I don't know if in the video it came out, the little screen that I opened, but if it didn't, what I put in was that formula, and I explained that that doesn't work, that's incorrect. So then I tried to see if I could ask the question in a different way and get the bot to go into some other part of its gigantic corpus, which I'm sure is gigantic. And I'm using natural language processing terms, NLP, which I've done a little bit of. And so, yes, it gives me a different definition, which is better because it goes into the 1 over n issue. And that's where the natural number really does come in. Yes, there's always a natural number that you can put in the 1 over n for your delta epsilon proofs in calculus. Okay, so that is fine. Um, then I tried to get it to give me a numerical example. It gave me an example from limits, which I didn't check, but I'm sure it's correct. And then I wanted to get back to why it was making that mistake, but it just spit out the same thing. Then I tried to get it to explain to me what it was doing. And here it started going over ratios, and then this is where I caught that the definitions were off. In this case, there are two natural numbers less than or equal to a over b, namely 0 and 1. Okay, and I've put in the description of the video where I found in Wikipedia that the ISO definition for natural numbers is the whole numbers and does include 0. But what you find in mathematics, at least in number theory, and now that I'm doing some real analysis, is the natural numbers do not include 0. And that's a very important distinction. So it looks like ChatGPT is using whole numbers and not natural numbers. Then I asked it for something that I knew was true, the density of rationals in real analysis, and sure enough, it gave me the correct definition. You can't get this one wrong. I mean, it's the whole construction of the reals from the rationals is the foundation of real analysis. And then I asked the same question again, and then it gave me something that I think was wrong. But I'll keep these answers for future reference. if I have a chance to continue studying ChatGPT, I think I'm going to have a lot of fun with it. Uh, then I gave it the two links that I'm referencing, and sure enough, there it goes into using the natural numbers the way that I wanted it to use them. So I'm like, wow, that's great. So that means that different parts of ChatGPT are using different natural numbers. One is using whole numbers, and the other part is using natural numbers as known in math, where 0 is not a natural number. Then I tried to ask it the same question again. I was trying to go see if I could get into a part of the corpus that was not being used for the answers, but I didn't succeed. Then I started. I didn't want to get adversarial, but I wanted to ask, hey, why are you getting this wrong? And of course, it's very well designed. This product is incredible, and I think it's going to be it's going to get way better. I'm pretty sure, uh, and I hope it continues to be available, like I said earlier in the video. And so it was just saying, hey, if I'm not getting it right, yeah. So so it went into the rationals. That's pretty good. And I kept asking, seems like you're getting something wrong, but it went back to whatever definition it has. It's only as effective as what the corpus of it says, or what it says, what it has as a reference. Then I asked more questions, got the same answer. Then I said, okay, fine, just give me some Python code to find to find the fraction between two real numbers, and this code is a little off, and I tested it. So, and of course the output is backwards, and I don't know why, but when I tested it, it was fine, except that it needed a little fixing. Um, so yeah, I asked a more concrete question to see if I could better the code, a couple more, but it didn't do it. So that was fine. So far it can do Python code at a very simple level. Once you start getting into like refining the code, you're better off just doing it yourself, in my opinion. I could be wrong, and so that's what I did. So I put this also in the description. I took what it gave me, and I put an average in it, and then I subtracted that average, because otherwise it was giving me it was saying between as greater than or equal to, and I wanted it to be uh, not equal. I didn't want the equal. So there you have it. That's what I've done so far for the Archimedean principle and the density of the rationals. Hope you find this useful.